Council meeting of the 27th of March 2024. I declare the meeting open. I'd like to remind everyone that in accordance with Council's Code of Meeting Practice, other than the public forum section, this meeting is being live streamed. I'd like to welcome the Reverend Tim Booker from St Luke's Anglican Church to read the Prayer of Council and the Acknowledgement of Country. Thank you, Reverend.
Thank you.
If I can invite everyone to stand.
Thank you. Before we begin proceedings, we'd like to acknowledge the traditional custodians of the land on which we meet and their ancestors past and present, the Cabragool clan of the Darug Nation. I also acknowledge that this land was accessed by peoples of the Darawal and Darug nations. The affirmation of Council. We affirm our hope and dedication to the good government of our city and the well-being of all of Liverpool's residents, no matter their race or creed. Today we affirm our hope for sound decision-making by Council, which will improve the quality of life in our city. We express our expectations and best wishes for Australia, our nation's future, the Mayor, councillors and staff of Council, and all those associated with good government in Liverpool. Let me pray to our Creator and Heavenly Father. Heavenly Father, as we gather today to begin this Council meeting, we pause to recognise your sovereignty and your unfailing goodness. We thank you, Lord, for your endless love and the grace that sustains us each day. You are the source of all wisdom, and today, more than ever, we lean on that wisdom to guide our decisions and actions. We offer our deepest gratitude for the rich tapestry of cultures that make up the vibrant community of Liverpool. Each individual and culture adds unique colours, patterns and textures to the fabric of our society, creating a masterpiece of diversity and strength. We thank you for the beauty in this diversity, and we pray for continued peace, prosperity and unity among all our residents. May our community be a shining example of harmony and mutual respect. Father, challenge us as we meet to be leaders who serve with humility, leaders who seek not only to be heard, but also to listen, leaders who are quick to understand and slow to judge. Remind us that we are stewards of your creation and servants of the people entrusted to our care. May our actions reflect your love and justice, and may our leadership be a testament to your grace and mercy. We pray this in Jesus' name. Amen. If you know the Lord's Prayer, the prayer that Jesus taught his disciples to pray, I invite you to pray that with me now. Our Father in heaven, hallowed be your name. Your kingdom come. Your will be done on earth as in heaven. Give us today our daily bread. Forgive us our trespasses, as we forgive those who trespass against us. Lead us not into temptation, but deliver us from evil. For the kingdom, the power and the glory are yours, now and forever. Amen. Thank you. Please be seated.
Please remain standing for the national anthem. And thank you, Reverend Booker. May I wish you, your family and your parishioners a very blessed and holy Easter coming this week. Thank you.
User. 잠이 들어서.
Sakat intişe.
Thank you, everyone. Please be seated. We have one councillor who is attending remotely, Councillor Carnib. Can I have someone move that way? Councillor Caliander, seconded by Councillor Green. All those in favour? Against? Declare it carried. Thank you. Do we have any apologies? No? Everyone's here? Thank you. There are no condolences. Can I ask for a confirmation of the minutes from the meeting held the 28th of February 2024? Moved by Councillor Amoon, seconded by Councillor Rhodes. All those in favour? Against? I declare it carried. Thank you. Are there any declarations of interest today? Councillor Hall?
Yes, I have. Confidential 03.
If I can just ask that you fill in the paperwork and submit that. Thank you.
Will do, thank you.
Any other conflicts of interest? No.
Through the chair, I'd like to move an urgency motion if I can, please.
Okay, yes, can you please tell me what is the urgency of the motion?
The urgency motion is regarding the closure of Grove Street, Liverpool. That street has been in question for a little while and it's becoming a real issue for both residents and
Just
drivers.
One moment, just before you speak. So it's urgent to be done now?
Yes,
why?
it
Yes?
is.
Can you just explain to me why?
Safety.
Public
People's safety, yep.
Okay. I'll allow you to move the urgency motion. What is your motion? Thank you. Thank you, councillor. Just one moment. Thank you, councillor. What's your motion?
The motion is regarding the closure of Grove Street, Liverpool. This is an urgency motion as we need to resolve the safety and hazardous intersection of Grove Street, Liverpool. That both the residents, the visitors of Liverpool and the residents of Grove Street have suffered so much from not having that street closed over the past years. I moved the motion 2 years ago, approximately, requesting that that street be closed, and I've been advocating for that street to be closed for the past 2 years.
Point of order.
Yes.
What's your point of
just
order?
say the motion, I think, and then you can talk to the motion.
I'm not going to. I'm explaining what the motion's for.
Just, yeah,
The urgency is the safety of residents of Grove Street and the safety of residents of Liverpool.
So I accept that that is urgent. So can you state the motion for me now, please?
We can no longer turn a blind eye on Grove Street.
Sorry, Councillor Rubin, what is your motion? Is it to immediately
Close Grove Street, yes.
Okay, that's it. Can you just state that for the typist for me?
Okay. Well, I'm trying to put the motion in, and I'm trying to tell you why I'm putting it in for. Okay. The motion, I'd like to move the motion to close Grove Street, effective immediately if possible.
Do you have a seconder? Councillor Goodman. Okay. I believe we also have speakers on the motion today as well, on the same topic today as well. So the CEO just has a comment to make.
Thank you, Deputy Mayor. There are 5 speakers who want to speak in this exact area. My concern, Council, is that if you put your motion and it's voted on and it's dealt with, then it becomes academic for the 5 speakers. You've not heard what the 5 speakers want to say. So you've now put your motion, you've been granted urgency. You may prefer, councillors may prefer to hear from the 5 speakers, then you debate the motion, then you vote on it.
Yeah, well, I'm happy to move that way. I've actually discussed this motion with probably 3 or 4 of the people that are speaking.
But no one
I'm happy
else
for the
knows
rest
what
yet
they're
to have.
going to
Yep,
say.
definitely. Yep.
All right.
Okay. So if we're able, we will deal with this motion after we've heard from the speakers, and then we'll come back to debating. Is that okay? Yep. Good. All right. So
Through the chair.
Yes, Councillor Hull.
Thank you. I in fact had the similar idea in that I knew the residents were going to speak on this issue today. So I have in fact prepared similar motions to Councillor Amoon, and I think they're urgency motions, and of course they should be heard. But I actually have 3, and I was going to wait until after the speakers had their say, simply because these are 3 different matters and they're not necessarily related, and consequently there will be differences between the motions. So I'll wait until after they've spoken, and then maybe Councillor Amoon and I can come to some common basis for a motion. Thank you.
Thank you. Councillor Goodman.
So what if the urgency motion that Councillor Amoon wanted to move would help these people that wanted to get up and talk not to talk anymore?
Councillor, they'll be addressed each and individually as per the program. It's a matter for them if they want to no longer speak or they want to speak. But it is on the program, and we should give them the opportunity, afford them the opportunity if they still wish to speak.
So based on advice, what we'll do is move into the public forum section, then come back to the urgency motion immediately following the public forum section. Sophia.
During the day on Grove Street, it is a major concern. It's a notorious.
Sorry, before you speak for your motion, did you want to read out your urgency motion, or did that already happen when I wasn't here? Yeah, but have you actually read it all out already?
No,
You haven't read it out? Would you mind reading it out just so we can?
Sure.
Please, if you don't mind.
Is it up there? Do you want to scroll?
On your screen?
Yeah. No, I can't actually see it from here. I'll go off my phone. To proceed with the closure as per Transport for New South Wales recommendation to the closure of Grove Street to through traffic with access to Ibis Hotel redirected solely via Graham Avenue and Grove Street from the top end. Implement necessary signage, road markings and traffic management measures to facilitate safe and efficient entry to the Ibis Hotel from Graham Avenue. Call upon Traffic for New South Wales and Council to work collaboratively to ensure safety, to execute the process, closure and entry adjustment, ensuring minimal disruptions to the local residents and businesses. authorise the CEO to take all necessary actions in order to get Grove Street Casula closed on the basis of urgency due to community safety.
Wonderful. Do you have a seconder for that motion? Good, thank you. Sorry, wonderful. Great. Now, would you like to now speak for your motion, councillor?
After hearing from the residents of Grove Street, and as you all probably understand now, that the urgency of closing the street, I've been advocating for the closure for the past nearly 2 years due to what I've personally seen and experienced on Grove Street. I've stood there for a few hours in the morning and I've seen actual cars crossing across the 3 lanes of the Hume Highway trying to get onto the M5. I've seen trucks trying to exit from there, and it's really, really dangerous. I actually witnessed the double beat or whatever they call it, the truck trying to exit from Grove Street that day. It is disturbing, and it's actually a big concern to us. Asking other fellow councillors to vote for this motion and to actually get assistance in closing Grove Street would be greatly appreciated. Thank you.
Yeah, sorry, Chris, did you want to, another speaker for? Did you want to speak for? Yep, I'll go to speak for and then we'll go to the questions. Councillor Harrell? If you can, Councillor Rhodes, if you turn off your microphone, please. Thank you.
Thank you. Yes, I would just like to assure or agree with Councillor Amoon on this issue. I was at that meeting last night, and it was quite harrowing to hear the issues that we have witnessed there for a number of years. It's come to the Council Traffic Committee many, many times, and in every instance we find there is some sort of issue that delays it somewhat. And as a matter of fact, at the last Traffic Committee meeting, the same thing occurred. It was suggested that we do a third survey of the residents in the street. Quite frankly, that's not necessary when you will get the same reply on every occasion. So we really need to close that access to the rear of the hotel off in such, that's a suggestion. I don't suggest that we close it off so they can't have access, but it should be, in my opinion, a gated access. A gate that's closed, and the only way you can get in there is if the gate is opened. We were there, Dr. John Crozier, who's a well-known surgeon in Liverpool, he was at the meeting last night, and he suggested that that section of the road is the worst section in all of New South Wales for crashes. Now, it amazes me that we don't have a record that there are crashes there, when I have actually seen all those photos that the speakers were going to present. And when you look at those, it's amazing that the Transport for New South Wales, or BOSCA, doesn't have a record of that. It just seems, it's just unrealistic. However, we were there I think about 18 months ago, and Councillor Manoon and a few others were there, and we actually witnessed traffic from Grove Street into the rear of the Ibis Hotel and exit out onto the Hume Highway. Now, evidently that is a constant stream of traffic every morning, and to some extent the whole of the street has a backlog of cars waiting to go illegally through the Ibis Hotel onto the Hume Highway and then cross over to the other side to get onto the M5. It's a major problem, and we need to fix this ASAP. Thank you.
Before we get to questions, can I just...
I don't know. Is it questions, or
What are you gonna ask?
you want to speak for the motion?
I do, but I also want to make a suggestion.
Sorry, can you put your microphone,
It's either speaking for or against the motion, Mr Mayor.
Yes.
Calling for somebody to speak against the motion.
I'm making a suggestion in terms of an addition to the motion, if it's amenable to the mover and seconder.
So you want to move an amendment?
If it's amenable.
Yeah, if you don't mind, if you can just let Councillor Rhodes ask her questions, and then we can add your one, please. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Mr Mayor. Yes, I agree. This has been before the Traffic Committee, of which I chair, a number of times. Through the CEO, could I have the council please explain, first of all, whether council has the authority to close a street?
Yep. Thank you, councillor. Through the correct processes, invariably through the Traffic Committee, working with Transport for New South Wales, getting Transport for New South Wales agreement. Yes, we have the authority working with Transport for New South Wales to do that. The way that I read the motion that's been put by the councillor, it makes it very clear that it is firstly per the Transport for New South Wales recommendation and us working collaboratively with Transport for New South Wales. We can't do it on our own, if that answers your question.
Thank you, Mr CEO. Perhaps another question leading on from that. Then, could we have council please explain the process so far that they have engaged with Transport New South Wales so that we all understand where we're up to and what is going to proceed?
Yes, thank you. I'll ask the manager, George, if you would go through the processes. I understand that you've got a number of matters you can confirm.
Is it a council road?
Sorry?
Is it a council road?
Yeah.
Through the CEO, the process that you've talked about is the case. Council can close roads, council can make changes to traffic management on its local road network. The main requirement is that a transport management plan needs to be prepared. It needs to go to Transport for New South Wales for endorsement, in some cases for approval before council can close the road. So the resolution or the recommendation that we've got in front of us, dot point 3, says yes, work with Transport for New South Wales and council. Clarification could be that we make reference to the local traffic committee because that's part of the process. Council cannot make that decision without the recommendation from the local traffic committee. So that's the only clarification I would add to it. Dot point 1, where it talks about access being only from Grove Street, needs that, requires that there would need to be consultation with the hotel owners. Yeah. Thank you.
And just, sorry, before you go, Charles, just confirming Councillor Hadid's question that it is a local road.
It is a local road, yes. It's managed by council, yes.
Well, it's my understanding, as long as it's a local road, we can start the process tomorrow. Just in reply to your questions. We can start the process tomorrow.
Through the CEO.
Can people, once you finish speaking, turn off your microphones? I will give you the call when I ask you to turn your microphones on and speak, please.
Through the CEO, a further question to...
I was just going to answer the other, if I may, councillor. If you, dot point 4, why it was important is that it authorises me to take the necessary action in order to deal with it. So if any further work's required through the Transport Committee, if any further work is necessary in working collaboratively with Transport for New South Wales, you will be, if this is passed, authorising me to take all necessary action. So that will give me the authority to do that.
I'm confused. If you might explain that then, Mr. CEO. Would just explain the process so that everybody is clear here. This is a recommendation to close the street immediately. We've just heard from our honoured colleague over there that we can do that because it's a local road. What are we taking to the Traffic Committee? That we have closed the street or that we are wanting to close the street?
Look, thank you, councillor. Firstly, the motion doesn't actually say close the street immediately. That was removed when the changes were made. Again, if you go through it, it says all necessary steps. Once I've had a very good look at what previously has gone through the Traffic Committee, and as I understand it has been going through the Traffic Committee for the last 2 years, it may well be that no further action is required from the Traffic Committee. Once I've looked at what Transport for New South Wales has already provided, it may not be necessary for any further work with Transport for New South Wales. It may require a further letter from Transport for New South Wales. Point 4 allows me to do that. Also, obviously, we'll be working with the Ibis Hotel and taking necessary action. Again, point 4 allows me to do that. So I still need to do a little bit of investigation to see what further steps are necessary.
And then further to the question, and if I may call upon the Manager of Traffic Management, as we understand, Council has already addressed this matter several times, I think it is, at the Traffic Committee. The question is, where are we up to? Are we waiting on a letter from Transport New South Wales, or what has been given to Transport New South Wales so far?
Through the CEO, the required transport management plan. The transport management plan simply says, we're going to close the road. Where is traffic going to be diverted to? And when it gets diverted to other streets, what's the implications for that? That's been given to Transport for New South Wales. The backpack information that was given to the agency required that we should do consultation. And we had to do 2 levels of consultation. That was why it came to Traffic Committee on 2 occasions. The information that's gone to Transport now says we wanted to keep the driveway to, or we wanted to change the driveway to the hotel to make it entry and exit. And Transport have said they don't support that arrangement.
Okay.
However, Council can close the road if we maintain the driveway to the hotel, but talk to the hotel first before we do it. And to me, it's just a fair process.
And so, just to be clear, when you say as long as we maintain the entrance to the hotel, does that mean that the entry that we're talking about, which is onto the Hume Highway, which isn't a local road, does that mean that that would be retained but have to go into the hotel? Is that what is being considered?
What is being considered is for, at the moment, like you've said, there's an exit driveway to the highway that is to be retained, and for an entry driveway from Grove Street, which is there already.
So are you closing the entryway to the hotel? No, that's just going into the other street. And that has been discussed with Transport New South Wales?
That has been discussed with Transport, but it has not been discussed with the hotel.
Oh, with the hotel. So now you're obligated to go back to speak to the hotel?
Yes.
Then come back to, is it notify or speak to?
Notification. Yeah.
Is that right? So it'll be just a notification?
That is correct, but I mean, the hotel has also got every right to debate, challenge, but in the first instance, it will be notification.
Yeah. So Charles, once that's done, that you've notified them, then the road can be closed immediately without having to come back to council or traffic committee?
For completeness, it needs to go back to traffic committee because what has gone to the traffic committee previously had a design which was changing the driveway to the hotel.
Yep.
That's what has come through traffic committee.
Okay.
And if you look at the minutes from your February meeting, that was reported to council at that meeting.
Okay, so you go back to hopefully you'll see them in the next couple of weeks, dare I say, the hotel,
Yeah.
traffic committee. When's the next traffic committee meeting?
The next traffic committee is on the 15th of May. If we go to the 15th of May, again, in terms of the process, it would then come to council at the end of June. Once council makes a resolution, then the road can be closed.
So can we, through this motion, now delegate to the CEO, if everyone's happy, that it doesn't have to come back to council, so that it can just be done once it comes from the traffic committee?
Legally, that's not the case, because the legal process is that before council can make a resolution on traffic management changes, it needs the support, it needs the recommendation of the local traffic committee.
Yes, but we can under section 377 delegate that to the CEO, so it doesn't come back to
That's
us.
fine. Yeah.
But yeah, as once we have the traffic committee on board. Okay, great. So before we get there, Councillor Calienda, you want to make an amendment?
Yes, thank you, Mayor. Look, I think it's quite extraordinary in listening to the residents who have had to advocate strenuously for their own health and safety for the better part of 2 years that it has come to this. So if the mover and the seconder are amenable, I would like to include point 5 to direct the CEO to review council's processes so that, if there are other people in our community who are in a similar situation where their health and well-being is at risk, they don't need to organise to come to council to have 4 people speak and on part of it, so that these issues are dealt with in a more professional manner. Like it really shouldn't have come to this and for
Sorry,
residents
I have to
take
pull you
these
up on that,
actions.
Councillor. Implying the staff haven't handled this professionally is disrespectful to the staff. So can I ask you to withdraw that comment, please?
That is not my intention, and I don't appreciate you putting words in my mouth, Mayor.
No, sorry,
that is-
all due respect. You said they were, not handling it professionally. We have a lot of professional staff here. It's a very technical process, sitting in the traffic committee numerous times, myself might have, and you have a significant amount of engineering work and process that has to go through. And I don't want the staff here being disrespected from that. I'm not saying you said that word. I didn't say that.
I believe my comment was to make sure that in future, these sorts of processes are handled with, without it coming to this sort of process in a professional manner.
Yeah.
Now, whether that is an issue with the existing processes, or whether there was something that slipped through the cracks in terms of this instance, that would come out in terms of a review of the process, and that's what I'm requesting.
Yep. Can I just clarify, Charles, just for the record? So the traffic committee is a committee that's the charter of the traffic committee that's set by council or by transport?
No, it's a committee that's set by Transport for New South
So
Wales.
a state government charter.
It's a state
So
government
can
charter, and the
can-
process is simply that before council makes a resolution, implement a road change, similar to what we're talking about, you get that professional advice from the members of the traffic committee.
Great. So maybe as a state member, Councillor Calienda, you might want to look into the charter of the traffic committee to make it more efficient as well and review that process as well. Because we're operating under the rules of the traffic committee, which is a state government body. I can write, or you could just listen to what we just spoke about. Yeah. Yeah. Is that on? Just one sec. So Councillor Odds, Councillor Green, and then we'll go to Councillor Amoon. Yeah. You might want to say that, Charles. I have a feeling you might want to say it locally. Sorry, Councillor Green. Councillor Odds, can you please turn off your microphone?
Okay. Might I suggest, it's my understanding, having been at the Traffic Committee when this was discussed, that Transport for New South Wales clearly stated, the representative stated, that if the residents wanted the road closed, then that could be closed. So might I suggest that maybe the transcript be reviewed so that, that I think that's an important context that needs to be also, I guess we all need to know that Transport for New South Wales rep was quite happy for Grove Street to be closed, if that was the residents' wish.
Mr. Mayor, the issue, what I believe, it's a council road. The issue, it's put before the committee a long time ago, and Transport of New South Wales doesn't care if you close it tomorrow. So all we have to do, just notify the resident of the closure of this road and start the process tomorrow. Thank you.
Well, this comment, Councillor Moon.
Just through the chair, Charles, in your professional opinion, I think we had a conversation about this. This should take no longer than 4 weeks. Is that correct?
Transport would give us endorsement, written endorsement in the next 4 weeks. They've said we should come back to them with some paperwork changes. So that would be done, and they would give us a feedback in about 4 weeks.
Right.
I need to talk to the lawyers because there's a illegality here. It's when it needs to go back to the traffic committee. My suggestion is that it goes to the traffic committee at the May meeting. Once that happens and we get traffic committee support, then the road can be closed because council has then already made a decision.
Look, thank you. Councillors, can I again just remind you that if this passes with just the 4 points, again, you're authorising me to take all necessary action. And as I said, I will have a look at the transcripts of what's occurred with the Transport Committee. I will have a look at what still, if anything, has to be provided to Transport for New South Wales. I'll obtain what I need to from Transport for New South Wales. I'm still not convinced it needs to go back to the Transport Committee. Again, I'll make that decision, but you're actually authorising me to do all of that. So I don't believe you have to spell it out item by item to do that.
Great.
Can I add a point 5 then, that it does come back to council, report back to us, because we can all learn through this.
No, the thing is, if you do that, that's going to delay it, right?
A month. You're not going to get it done before a month.
No, review. Ultimately, councillors, we've got a community who's been waiting very patiently that want to get this done. The technical process is just about complete, right? There's probably 6 weeks of time by the time it goes from a traffic committee back to this meeting. Can I recommend that as soon as it's gone through the traffic committee, that...
Well, it's not going to happen in 4 weeks' time, Mr Mayor.
No, but as soon as it does, goes through the traffic committee, that if we can have the minutes circulated within a couple of days to the councillors, we then can make a decision whether we want to call an extraordinary meeting to approve it and move on. And then that will save... Pardon?
Mr. Mayor?
Pardon?
Sorry.
No, the motion is not finalised, and technically, where was your one?
Mr. Mayor?
Oh, she's withdrew it.
She's withdrawn.
No, we haven't had two people speak against it yet. We haven't got
Mr.
that
Mayor?
far. And I've got the
Just
yes,
one thing.
yeah, and I've got a deputy mayor.
We've authorised the CEO to take all necessary action on the basis of urgency.
Yep.
So
Yeah.
I think that says it all.
Yeah,
And there's
so-
no need for it to come back to council meeting.
Yeah, I think just so technically the wording probably just has to be sharpened up.
Sharpen, yeah.
Because what you need to be done, and to Charles's point before, is you need a technical assessment done by the traffic committee, completed, which is what he's saying.
Before
Yeah.
we wrote this urgency motion, we actually discussed with...
Sorry, can you turn on your microphone, please?
Someone else's...
Thank you.
That's okay. Just don't do it again. Before we put, Councillor Amun put the urgency motion, we had a meeting with Charles and we discussed it, and he told us what the process is going to be.
Yeah.
He needs 2 weeks to be able to write to traffic for New South Wales, and they need around 2 weeks to write back to him. As soon as they write back to him, he can close the road with the barricades.
Yeah. But if that's good, he's going to check the ticket.
Can we just have that confirmed by Charles?
1 second. I'll get the deputy mayor.
So, Mr Mayor, I'm wondering whether or not to expedite the process that we can call an extraordinary meeting of the Traffic Committee.
Charles, can we do that?
Yes, that can be done. Yeah.
Okay. Right. Wonderful. That is very helpful. I'm sure you can get that done.
Yeah.
But I'm just saying that the minutes have to be adopted by council for the action to start happening. Right?
We can have
Unless-
an extraordinary meeting,
Yeah.
say towards the end of April, and then gets that reported to council. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, could you have that? Yeah. So could you have the minutes come to the April council meeting?
Yes, please. Yeah.
Okay. Great. Now, yeah.
With respect, councillors, that's what point 4 authorises you to do. It's there. Council.
Mr. Mayor, As long as you authorize the CEO to do the work. Why it has to come back to the council? He can make a decision. He can make the decision. He don't need it.
He doesn't have delegation to adopt
Well, if you delegate
Committee-
to him now.
the
if you-
minutes of
if
the
you-
traffic committee.
Mr. Mayor, if you delegate to the CEO now.
Correct.
he
That's what I
can
say.
do it.
Authorizing doesn't delegate. It's a technical wording thing there. And then the question is the team ready to conduct the works? I'm sure they could. So, could we recommend to the director of operations maybe see if you can get it, assuming everything goes well in April, to have a program to happen as soon as possible? Any works have to take place. All right. Okay. Councillor Harrell.
I had earlier suggested I had two more urgency motions. Do you want to hear them now or later?
Can we just deal with this one and
Yes,
vote on it?
certainly.
Right? Great. If there any further discussion,
Just two question, authorise or delegate? What is it? Just to.
I would change the word to delegate.
Thank you. And the second question, do we need written in this motion that we're going to expedite, let's say expedite, the traffic committee meeting in order to, no?
You've delegated me to take necessary action. I can expedite that and call it and notify you. You don't need to.
Sorry, can you turn off your mic, Councillor Rhodes, so we can, everyone use their microphones, please, so people can hear, especially Councillor Carneeb?
Yep, thank you. Councillor, why I'm reluctant to break 4 down in the subsections is right now you've given me the delegate to take all necessary action on an urgent basis. If you then start saying, also you can do, then suddenly there'll be something you forgot to tell me I can do and I'm suddenly trapped by it. So I would rather just leave 4 as is.
Okay, there being no further discussion, I'll put the motion. All those in favour, please raise your hands. Against, I declare it unanimous. All right. Councillor Harrell, what are your urgency motions?
Yes, I had two, and these are based on the speakers before. The one is about the Casula Railway access. The motion I have is simply Council to provide a report on the viability of implementing pedestrian access to the western side of Casula Railway Station via Carroll Park and adjoining streets.
And
The reason for the urgency
Yes.
is this issue has been going on, as the Speaker said, for almost 40 years. I know of at least 10 years of that. So, and I mentioned it to the Director of City Presentation some months ago, and also to the Director, Bono, when she was part of the community. And so what's happening is this just appears to be being delayed and delayed and delayed, and I think we should be doing. I know what you're going to suggest is that we put it as a normal motion. What's the difference, whether it goes now or whether it goes in 3 or 4 weeks' time?
The difference is the provisions of urgency motions, right, and the precedent established. I'm not seeing, there's one about people's lives and safety, you know what I mean? And this is like, because what you're saying is build a footpath, find money for a footpath, program the footpath, which the reality is will have to be next year's budget, capital works program, considering we only have a couple of months left of this year. You know what I mean? So I don't see this as something that is that meets that threshold of urgency, if I'm being completely blunt on that.
I'm happy to put it up as a normal motion if that suits
Yeah, I think
the
if
council. My other one, mind you, in that instance, there is safety and health involved.
have you, sorry, just out of curiosity, have you worked out the cost? Do you have any idea?
No, and that was part of the report, asking for a report on the viability of it. I'm not asking for costing, I'm just asking for a report on the viability as to how much it would cost, what's involved. Council really needs to go and have a look at that. There are major issues involved with that. As the Speaker said, there's steps, there's lighting, the road surface, all of those issues. It's going to cost a lot of money, and it would need to be a co-funded thing with council and the railways.
So I would say I don't deem it urgent. I think you can put it up next meeting. Maybe if there's somewhere here in the meeting that we could do it, I'll give you a heads up. But can I recommend what you can do urgently? Is I'm pretty sure we have a very motivated director of operations. We're happy to probably meet you out there in the next week or so, and have a look at, meet you on site and help work on that process, because this does not seem like a small little project.
Okay,
Is that
happy to do that.
Turn the microphone off.
Through the CEO, growing up at 9 Blackwood Avenue. Growing up at 9 Blackwood Avenue, Casula, I'm well aware of the 97 steps and some of the access issues. So happy to meet on site with Councillor Hall and go through, and then we'll do some rough order of magnitude costs for the motion.
Thank you. What's your other?
The other one is council to urgently evaluate 2 additional roundabouts on 15th Avenue to address safety issues at the intersections of Craig Avenue and 28th Avenue. Last night, there was quite a bit of information on social media. Someone had a nasty accident there last night, and there have been accidents there just about every week.
Yep, right. I'm happy to accept that.
Yes.
As an urgency motion. Do you have a seconder for the answer, Deputy Mayor? Seconded. Yep, great. If there is no discussion, is everyone happy for it? All those in favour? Against? Declare it carried. Thank you, Councillor Hall.
Thank you.
1 out of 2? 2 out of 2. 2 out of 2. 2 out of 2.
I have your permission.
Great. Thank you, everyone. Well, now I have 2 mayoral minutes to go through. Time will go by quickly.
Uncle Troy's in the back of the chamber, have you seen?
Oh, there he is. Great.
Sitting next to George.
So, just screw up the screen a little bit. So, Liverpool Council recently received the 2024 Business Excellence Low Government Medal for our Experience the World events. The award recognizes the outstanding achievements of an amazing team. I would like to take this opportunity to thank everyone involved in curating the events. A special thank you must go to Tina Bono, our Director of Community and Lifestyle. And the incredible Clara McGurk. In 2023, Council launched Experience the World, a series of 7 major cultural events that celebrate Liverpool's diversity. Liverpool is the face of multicultural Australia, with 43% of the residents born overseas. We took it upon ourselves to share our stories through food, festivals, and storytelling. Festivities. There have been considerable positive community feedback about the Experience the World events. The events are a fun and welcoming outlet for people close to home, improving our quality of life. People have voted with their feet, with almost 900,000 people having attended the events. With over 75,000 people attending Most Blessed Nights last weekend alone, we are on track to surpass 1 million visits by the end of the Most Blessed Nights. The Experience the World events are now a staple within our community. It is hard to believe that they have only been running for just over 1 year now. The blueprint and the legacy set in 2023 for Experience the World series will last for a long time to come. And I'd like to move that Council thanks the Premier of New South Wales, Premier Chris Minns, for awarding Liverpool City Council the 2024 Business Excellence Low Government Medal for our Experience the World events. 2, thank all participants who have made the Experience the World in Liverpool such a success, including local residents, business owners, performers, multicultural leaders, council staff, councils, and the New South Wales Government. And if there is no discussion, no,
I think you've said it all, but just echoing what you've said, Mr. Mayor, an amazing set of events that we had last year, and bigger and better every year to come. I would say we've set the standard now. So well done, staff, and thank you so much.
Yeah, can I just clarify? I put a point 3. That's sorry, I don't know how I got a minute. Just acknowledge as a point 3. Just acknowledge the amazing work done by.
Thank you.
Tina Bono and the events team for making these visions come to a reality. I can take your name. I can take your name out of a team and just put your team if you want.
Mr Mayor, if I might just add a comment as well. Look, I really congratulate everybody involved because it's really helped to put Liverpool on the map and make us a destination, which everybody before thought Liverpool can never become a destination, but Liverpool has done it. And I thank Council for doing that.
Yeah, and I think it's very important that we celebrate our wins. And you know, council is a very multifaceted organisation with different elements to it. And you know, having this element achieve excellence is what we want to achieve excellence everywhere. That's what we're trying to do, and it's great that this side of the business is doing that, and we look forward to the other sides continue in doing that. So, yes, yeah. All those in favour? Against? Declare it carried. Both things. One for Karishma as well. Great.
Next.
Our next one is. Shall I have that? Our next one is. Over the course of the last 3 decades, George Street in Liverpool has evolved into a prominent Indian fashion and culinary destination. The transformation has made George Street a sought-after high street destination, drawing in fashion enthusiasts and food aficionados from across the world. George Street's emergence as a Little India or Cyrus Street exemplifies the vibrancy and multiculturalism that defines Liverpool. It stands as a testament to our commitment to fostering diverse and inclusive spaces within our city, offering residents and visitors a glimpse into the rich tapestry of diverse cultures that enrich our community. In light of the burgeoning reputation that George Street is Cyrus Street, Little India, I propose the following. That one, council supports the establishment of the precinct Little India, Liverpool, Cyrus Street, to position George Street as a destination of choice with a unique food, fashion, and culture offering to deliver economic, cultural, and marketing benefits to local businesses and the city of Liverpool. B, develops a marketing plan to assess, brand and promote Little India, Liverpool, Cyrus Street as a vibrant cultural precinct, identifying opportunities to enhance its appeal and attract visitors. C, engage an appropriate person to provide a design language for facade upgrades, street furniture, and plantings to amplify the uniqueness of the streets and shops. D, undertake community consultation process supporting this in mayoral minute. E, provides $100,000 in the 24-25 budget for this initiative. Any discussion?
I think that it's something, again, which will help to establish Liverpool and put us on a map as a destination. I think it's a worthy motion. I thank you for doing it, Mr Mayor.
Thank you. Oh, great. I'll put the motion. All those in favour? Against? Declared. Carried. Okay. I'll now move on to item CEO 01 in the booklet. On page 57, tab 1, with recommendation on page 57.
I need to do a few steps if you don't mind.
Do you want to just move the whole agenda as a whole? Would you be happy with that, Councillor Hadid?
Thank you, sir. Right for me to start?
Is there technically anything to...
No, I need to...
Oh, you're just presenting. Okay.
Thank you, Mayor. Councillors, what's before you in the paper is, of course, the what's occurring and the recommendation. But prior to putting the recommendation, I do want to indicate that today we're honouring 4 councillors with long service awards for their outstanding contribution to Liverpool City Council. I will go through briefly a little story on each of the 4 councillors. And then with the 3 councillors that are present, we will go, after I've read their story, we'll simply go down and do a presentation. Firstly, I start with Councillor Ali Karnib, who of course is currently at home. Councillor Karnib has served with distinction on council since 1999 and has served for a total of 22 years. He was also President of the Lebanese Community Council. He served as Deputy Mayor from 2016 to 2017 and 2018 to 2020. He has served on many council committees, including the Strategic Panel and Budget Review Panel, the Audit Risk and Improvement Committee, and the Community Safety Crime Prevention Committee. His contribution to council has been outstanding. Councillor Knibb has already received his certificate, frame certificate, but he also receives the 20-year medal, and I congratulate you, Councillor Knibb. Congratulations.
Thank you. Thank you.
And the local government 20-year medals on the screen. Thank you. Our next councillor is Councillor Peter Hall. Councillor Hall has served with distinction for a total of 15 years, first being elected in 2008 and having served 3 consecutive terms. He studied and taught at TAFE, New South Wales. He has served on many council committees, including the Civic Advisory Committee, the Tourism Events Committee, Master Plan Steering Committee, and the Planning and Development Committee. He also served as council's representative on several external organisations. If I would ask Councillor Hall to please meet me. Thank you. Councillor Mazhar Hadid, OAM. Councillor Hadid was first elected in 2008 and has served with distinction for 15 years, over 3 consecutive terms. Councillor Hadid was recently awarded the Order of Australia for his contribution to the community. He has served on various council committees over the past 15 years. These include the Tourism and CBD Committee, Badgerys Creek Task Force, Heritage Advisory Committee and the Environment Advisory Committee. He also served as Deputy Mayor from 2012 to 2014 and again from 2020 to 2021.
Thank you.
Mayor Ned Manoon. Mayor Ned Manoon has served with distinction for 10 years, first being elected in 2008. He has served as mayor for 2 terms, from 2012 to 2016, and again from 2021 to present. He was deputy mayor from 2010 to 2011. He was the chair of the Committee for Liverpool from 2013 to 2016. He's also served on a number of committees, including the Budget and Finance Committee and the Local Traffic Committee. He's an honorary fellow at the Western Sydney University. Thank you, councillors, and there's a recommendation at the foot of the paper, which the Mayor will put.
Can I just make a comment?
Certainly.
If that's okay. I would also like to congratulate everyone who received the awards today. As a first-term councillor, it's a steep learning curve. You think you know what you're in for when you get here and you realise you probably didn't know what you were in for. I recognise that this is a labour of love. You do it out of true passion for the community and for moving the community forward. So thank you so much for your dedication to our community, to all of you, and hopefully more of us will receive these awards in the years to come. So thank you very much.
Thank you.
And thank you. And I'll just point out, I want to congratulate all the other councils and point out that Councillor Howard was also a deputy mayor for a year in, what year was that? Was it 2008, 2009?
I said that.
The first one. Yeah, correct. Yeah, 2008, 2009. Yeah, wonderful. All right. I'm
My
trying to-
apologies, it was in my original papers, but I was given new papers. I don't know why it was removed. Talk about that later.
Yeah. Great. There's no real
Thanks.
recommendation.
The recommendation's on the screen.
Moved by the Deputy Mayor. Second of Councillor Rhodes. All in favour, against, declare it carried. Great. Now, let us begin. All right, sorry, I wasn't here, but I'm declaring a non-pecuniary, lesser significant interest on this one, as I've previously provided advice on this matter many years ago when I was not elected official. But for the sake of things, I will remove myself from the chamber while this happens.
Oh, every time I sit here, I move that desk forward. Okay, so we move on to item Plan 01, Street Naming in Preston's, page 59, tab 2, with their recommendation on page 59.
I have a question.
Councillor Rhodes?
Is there a reason
Is there a
why-
mover? Moved Councillor Hall, seconded Councillor Hadid. Questions,
Is
Councillor
there a
Rhodes?
reason why we are naming our streets after seaside towns located in the South Coast? Is
Through
there a
the
reason
CEO?
why we're doing that?
Through the CEO.
I'll ask the Acting Director of Planning and Compliance, Mark Hanna.
This is through the CEO. Thank you, Councillor. Good question. The reason why we're continuing with the South Coast theme is that the other streets in that suburb have already followed the South Coast theme.
Another question through the CEO. Would it be an opportunity for us to get some more Aboriginal names in different locations here in Liverpool, or is that outside, the preset of us having South Coast names there?
Thank you. Again, I'll ask the Acting Director, Mark Hannan, to respond.
Again, through the CEO. I will note that the proposal for Bamboka Street is a First Nations name from the Yuin Nation on the South Coast. In terms of whether we can use local First Nations names, that could be a consideration for our policy moving forward in terms of naming opportunities.
Would it be possible for me to add another name in there, perhaps to replace then Hyam Street? So it's an amendment to the motion.
Is there a process whereby we can amend the names, or does that have to go through the GNB, through you, Mr. CEO, to the Director?
Back to them.
No. Amendments can be made to the names. We will then publicly exhibit and then go to the Geographical Names Board after that.
The suggestion I would like to make is that instead of Hyam Street, that we put up Cobra, which is Cohbra Street, and that's named after the Cabro grubs, which are harvested from the banks of the Georges River.
So are the mover and seconder of the
Willing to-
original motion happy to support that? No? Would you like to move a foreshadowed motion?
Well, I'll try foreshadowed motion. I think that it's in Liverpool's interest to have names that are, and Pembroke is an Aboriginal name. I would put up that we support Pembroke Street, Preston's, and put up the name Cobra, Cohbra Street, which is the Aboriginal name after Cabro grubs harvested at the banks of the Georges River.
I think that was COHBRA, is that
Yes.
correct?
Yes, COHBRA, that's it.
Do you have a seconder for your foreshadowed motion?
Don't know.
I'm happy to second it.
It's a seaside town located on the south coast.
I'm not sure whether through the CEO to the director, are you aware?
If you look at page 60 of the report, it explains it.
Is it an Indigenous worker, First Nations building? I'm not sure.
No, it says whilst the name does not have an Aboriginal origin, it's consistent with the naming theme for Preston's and ensures a unified theme is continued for the locality. It's why it was chosen.
Councillor Green?
I just have a question. Given that the street naming theme of that particular area in Preston's is on South Coast towns of New South Wales, I'm just wondering how the Georges River, the Cobra, will actually fit in, that maybe there's another opportunity to do that in maybe other streets. I just don't know how it would fit within the theme that is already set down.
If I may, the answer to that would be the emphasis is on tourism, where it's promoting the South Coast with the other name. This is more specific to our area and perhaps the Aboriginal history of the place, which is also of significance as a tourism destination.
Okay. Thank you. So procedurally, we will move the motion as moved by Councillor Harlan, seconded by Councillor Hadid. If there's no other discussion, can I ask all those in favour of the original motion to raise their hand? 1, 2, 3, 4. All those against? I declare that motion carried, and therefore the foreshadowed motion lapses. Thank you. If we could ask for the Mayor to come back in.
Thank you. Our next item is Plan 02, the Draft Regional Affordable Housing Contribution Scheme, page 64, tab 3, recommendation on page 66. Deputy Mayor?
I have a motion, Mr Mayor,
Yes.
which I think may come up on the screen magically. Happy to read through it
Yes, please.
while it's coming up. Number one, that council number one notes this report. The draft Western Sydney Affordable Housing Contribution Scheme prepared by the Western Sydney Planning Partnership and the response to questions on notice. Number two, does not endorse the draft scheme. Number three, thanks the Western Sydney Planning Partnership for their work on this proposal, but does not participate further in its advancement. Number four, waive the 711 and 712 contributions for multi-storey residential and commercial developments within the Liverpool city centre for projects that are completed within 4 years of today. Number five, write to the state government asking them to waive land tax during the CC to OC stage of development in Liverpool and other LGAs that waive contributions as per the above. Number six, write to the federal government asking them to allow homeowners who purchase residential multi-dwelling units as part of the above scenario to claim back their GST paid on the residential units. Number seven, waive all contributions for the development of granny flats. And number eight, allow contributions for all projects to be paid on occupation certificate rather than on construction certificate.
Do you have a seconder? Councillor Moon. Any discussion?
Just a couple of questions, if I may, not about the motion per se, but do we know at this stage if other councillors have signed up to this contribution scheme?
I'll refer to the CEO.
Thank you. It's being extensively discussed. I'm not aware of the council actually saying they've signed up for it as is, but it is being discussed. It's been discussed at the parks, but it clearly is a situation where all councils have accepted that each council has a right and should proceed in its own right. So we're not bound by what other councils do. We're not bound by what the majority of the parks councils do. You councillors make your decision for this council.
And just as clarification, do all LGAs have to have an affordable housing contribution scheme?
I'll ask the acting director to answer that. Mark?
Through the CEO, as part of the metropolis of three cities, the district plan as well as the Western City District Plan, there was a commitment for affordable housing schemes to be considered by all local governments. They're also referenced in the LSPS and in Council's housing strategy.
And just one further question, does the council consider this a alternate method? Because it seems to me it sounds a bit better than putting a tax on people. Does this constitute having a contribution scheme?
Through the CEO, given the extent of change up there, particularly in terms of contributions and the collection of contributions with 711, 712, I'd have to take this on notice to review.
Great. Councillor Green?
I thought, doesn't it state in the report that if council chose not to be part of this scheme, that substantive resources would need to be required to develop an individual scheme to meet the requirements, which, as I understand it, are legislative requirements that each council must have a affordable housing target and policy. Is that not correct?
I'll refer to the CEO.
I don't see it being outside of the everyday work that council's undertaking. I personally can't see any additional expenses that need to be identified in implementing this, in particular in the work that's required to, write to the government, etc. I really can't see anything of that nature. The acting director?
Thank you. Through the CEO, I suppose the benefit of a conjoined scheme through the partnership is that the administrative costs will be shared across the 8 councils. However, yes, we can accommodate a scheme operated fully within our council if we were to go for an individual basis.
Can I also? And council, if I can add to that, again, the 8 councils came together for work to be undertaken and the report to come back, and we all shared the costs of that. We've actually used that report in an extensive way, which, as you know, we've brought to you in workshops, we've brought to you, and this is now what's being put to you. So again, it comes within the day-to-day operations of council and within the ambit of the council budget to be able to undertake this on our own. We were never going to continue with the 8 for each and every aspect that was going to occur. We were always going to be on our own as they would be on their own.
Okay.
Could I please ask a question? Do we know from this particular model how many affordable houses that would be made available for low and below average wage earners who would qualify?
That it all gets down to who develops. At the end of the day, there's not one crane in the sky in Liverpool at the moment. So you only collect the tax if people build. So it's, if you work on what's going on at the moment, what's in the pipeline, nothing's going to get built, affordable or non-affordable.
But I'm just wondering if under this scheme, what would be the number of affordable homes that would be delivered?
There's no way to quantify that.
So there's no modelling or anything attached to this particular scheme?
At the moment, there's no one is building south of the Latte line. that exist in Sydney. So it means you're not collecting any taxes, Gio, to do anything. This is trying to encourage that. I'll refer to the CEO. Sorry.
Thank you, Mayor. Councillor, what is clear is that there would clearly be more in the future if this passes than if it doesn't. I mean, this is encouraging developers. This is giving developers an opportunity. This is giving developers a saving, if I can use that, to be able to be part of affordable. But at the end of the day, it's still up to the developer if they can make it work or not work. What you're doing is, instead of adding a cost, you're actually taking a cost away, making it more reasonable, and you're asking the state government if they're prepared to also remove certain costs. I can't tell you that the state government will agree or not agree, but again, it's what's in there.
I'll go to Deputy Mayor, then Councillor Rhodes.
Yeah, if I may, Mr Mayor, add some comments as well as speaking for my motion at the same time. I think another way to look at this, and to Councillor Green's point, is this motion allows us to very potentially reduce the need for affordable housing in our LGA by encouraging people who still have that great Aussie dream to save and buy their own home. So by moving away from the draft scheme that we have seen that would add considerable cost to every new dwelling in Liverpool, every new residential dwelling in Liverpool, for young families who we know move to our LGA all the time because apparently it's affordable. So what this does is enable those people and encourage those people rather than kick them in the teeth, and allows them the opportunity and the incentive to buy a place rather than to have to add to. And I fully acknowledge that we need to take care of people who are vulnerable and cannot afford to buy a property, but rather than add to those woes, why not take the lead and encourage people to be able to build a house to live in, rather than for a developer to build a house for somebody to rent long term, so that they don't have the opportunity to own their own home. Collaboration has been a great way to go at the beginning of this scheme so that we can see how it's going. But when it doesn't work for us and it's not in the best interest of our community, there's no point continuing with that line. And I'm very, very proud of this motion. I ask my council colleagues to support me and to, give some hope to the young families who may still think that they can build their own home. Thank you.
Councillor Rhodes?
Yes, let me be clear. I'm not speaking against the motion. I think it is a motion that's got a lot of worth in it. The waiver for all contributions for the development of granny flats, I believe, how much is the cost that we lob on top of people for building a granny flat through the CEO?
The acting director.
Through the CEO, I'd have to take that on notice.
Well,
I can answer it if you want, Councillor Rhodes.
Yes,
it's between $10,000 to $12,000.
$10,000 to $12,000.
And if you look at the cost of a granny flat to build, it's probably $120,000 now. Give or take a little bit more. You know what I mean? So you're talking about a 10% tax
on top of it.
Yeah.
How did we come up with that figure of $10,000 to $12,000? And I believe that at the time it was to contribute to the services in the area, or the infrastructure, the other infrastructure that we need in the area for the increase in density that granny flats would provide to an area. Should we perhaps lower that contribution but still gather something to add to that, so that we've got something to put into to cover the costs of infrastructure that is going to fall upon council?
I think the first question was, if you've made an amendment to the contributions plan, did you go through the proper process in the first place? I think that's the question.
Did we just pull that figure out of the air? I wanted to know how we came up with that figure, yes.
Yeah. I'll refer to the CEO. Yeah.
I'd have to take that on notice, Councillor.
Can we, number 7, is there something that we can do that we're still contributing something? Could we make it a more reasonable percentage than 10% or whatever you think it is?
I think the intent of the motion, not speaking for the move of the motion, but it's about providing affordable housing, and so.
Yeah. Absolutely what I was going to say. The spirit of the motion is about providing housing that is affordable for people in the LGA, and so removing those barriers. So I don't want to ad hoc add other percentiles and things like that into this motion. I'm quite comfortable with how it is at the moment.
And through the Mayor, I appreciate that and I understand that. The issue is that we know that with granny flats, you're going to have an additional car on the street than what has been provided before. And these are the issues that people find relevant to them, because the more granny flats you have, the more cars you're going to have parked out in front of the house that used to have 1 or 2 or 3, I don't know. But they're the issues, and all I'm saying is that, okay, I think $10,000 on $120,000 investment into something that's going to make money for those people is perhaps a bit high. That's why I was interested in how did we come up with that figure? What would be an appropriate amount that they should contribute?
I'm not sure that was passed in the last term of council, and I wasn't a councillor, so I don't know how that figure came about.
Can we put in consider, in number 7, consider more proportionate contributions for the development of granny flats? I don't know. I'm just trying to protect the livability of the city as well as making it affordable. Might be affordable, but if it's crap and it's not really livable, are we really doing the right thing by Liverpool?
I'll go to Councillor Hull and then Councillor Green, and then.
Yes, just on this issue, I was a councillor at the time, and the issue was debated then, and it was initially $5,000 was the original amount of money that was going to be added to that, and then it was changed to $10,000 for the very reasons Councillor Rhodes has said. There needs to be a contribution to the council coffers in terms of maintenance and all the services that those granny flat occupants
Sorry,
use.
Councillor, contributions can't be used for maintenance.
What I'm saying is that money comes to council for whatever reason, it goes towards council, and council uses that maybe for libraries or community facilities or those kinds of things. But the fact that you're now going to get rid of that means those people get a free ride. And sure, I understand that we should help people who are less fortunate ourselves. Not a problem with that. The state government and the federal government is very, very good at using our taxes to do just that. But then for councils to do the same thing, you need to explain that to the ratepayers. I, for one, think it's wrong.
I just want to clarify, Councillor Harl, that so technically at the moment you could go out there, you can only build a granny flat if you have spare FSR on your land, right? So if you don't build a granny flat, you can just extend your house and put another 3 or 4 bedrooms, and that would not impose any contributions, but it would increase population. So really, when you bought your land, you've got an FSR right. You can build that much, and you can build it without any extra cost as an extension. So you're saying, oh, but if you're going to extend and call it a granny flat, then you can't. So it's a bit, I think it's important to understand that factor in it. Anyway, Councillor Green?
I'm just cogitating here, and I'm still concerned about, we have about low income earners and their access to affordable housing. In terms of that, we know that in our area that healthcare and social assistance are the main industries that people are employed in, and those are also the feminised industries, and they're low paying. And they're also industries where people will have to hold more than one job. So I'm just getting my head around, because I'm trying to shift from the idea of of what was first presented as a way of I guess, funding or, contributing towards community community housing in managing properties. So I'm just wondering what happens to those people when we're talking about affordable, and we already know that there's also a high percentage of our population that are under rental stress as well. So I guess I'm just a bit worried about people that might be left behind.
So if I can provide this, if I can put my former background in when I was in the commercial real estate world. So when all those towers went up in Liverpool, there was 1,000 units being built a year in the city centre. And when they first opened up, it took a while for them to be rented out, and the rents were pretty low because they had to encourage people to go in there. Now that the buildings are full and there's no other buildings being built, the rents are moving up. What we're seeing now is that because there's no construction in Liverpool and there isn't anything planned on the horizon, and when I say horizon, I doubt we'll see any buildings up here in 3 to 4 years' time. We might get one. So all that means is the population growth is still coming in. We saw on Friday the federal government announced there was 550,000 new migrants coming to Australia. On top of that, we have the migration, and we're all for migrants. We're a migrant city, there's no doubt, but we normally sit at that 150, 200,000 people a year. So you have that increase in migration. You have people from the rest of Sydney who are being priced out because the other councils don't want to do their jobs. They don't want to improve housing. So they come to Liverpool. So all of a sudden, if you're a resident of this area at the moment, let's say you're working in the hospital, in helping out as part of the 5,000 workers that are there, and we know that our city centre is mainly our main occupation here is health workers, people who live here and they walk to the hospital. All of a sudden, they're going to start seeing 10, 20, 30, 40% rental increases because of just pure demand. If you're going to a rental property and there's 20 people lined up, that's going to push their rent up. So unless we get cranes coming back up into the sky, the renters are going to the one, and I'm concerned about them. The people living in what is an affordable place, they're going to cop it the worst, unfortunately. And we desperately need to get cranes up in the sky, desperately, because what we're seeing now, I'll tell you what, property prices are going to start going through the roof because nothing's being built. So I think we need to look after the people who are renting, and I think if we get cranes up, and they said that's a tick. What's the other part of it? And once again, it gets down to, the great Australian dream, as the Deputy Mayor said, being able to afford to buy something. If the federal government steps up to the table, that's going to bring people claiming their GST. That's $50,000 to $60,000 per dwelling that people can get back straight off the bat, right? On top of, say, the 10 grand in contributions and the few $1,000s from the state on that, that's a 10% probably price reduction, 12, 13% right there. And that's just to stimulate the market. They've done that previously when there was COVID, there was stimulation in the market to get it going. So that whole industry then collapsed. And now we are in a crisis. So I think this will help the renters and the people that you're mostly concerned about, and commendably you're concerned about them. And I think we all are. It helps them. It helps people who are going out there and saving and to try to buy their own place and get their foot in the door. So I think it's really good, and this hopefully policy other councils can go out there and adopt it. It's a way to get it going. It's not permanent. It's just it's a short period of time.
Just one more question, if you'll bear with me, Mr. Mayor. This is for private builders, obviously, to contribute. The affordability part of the building of these buildings. That currently is only made affordable for 10 years, and then it goes back onto the general market. I believe that you're not getting ahead of the affordability for as long as we continue to hold that. If this goes ahead, can we put in there that the affordable housing that is provided through this method remains affordable infinitum?
So what we could probably do is if we added a point 9, can you just scroll down a little bit, please? Did we have already 9? Point 9, we'd probably want to write to the state government to ask them to amend the SEP to allow to say that any affordable housing that's provided and under a bonus
Yep.
remains affordable
Affordable.
housing in perpetuity.
Yep, thank you. Happy with that. Still not happy with the waiver on granny flats. Would we be willing to adjust that to half? You just want to wipe it out completely for 4 years.
Granny flats.
And people who have built their granny flats or have them currently being built at the moment, what happens to them? Do they have to pay that contribution or?
It'd only be for stuff from now. Yeah. Sorry, can you put your microphone on, please, Councillor?
I think if they've started construction, that means they've already paid it.
Forward. Well, that would be the policy at the moment, that you pay it before you start construction. And so if we start this now, then anything new coming through would fit into the new criteria.
Can I ask another question? I promise this will be the last one. Is there a possibility, maybe a point 10, if council can work collaboratively or work with the community housing providers in terms of with them coming in to build affordable housing that is in perpetuity, that they look after?
So can I recommend, so on that, council is the biggest landowner in the city centre. We've got capacity with of at least 1,000 dwellings on our thing, and we resolved in the first council meeting of our term to start developing our car parks and increasing the parking capacity. There's an ample opportunity for us, for land that we control, to work with the community housing providers to say, let's do, we can play an active role rather than just a policy and no. So we could really do that, and that's probably would be a good outcome as well for the community. It's probably not. I don't see it relevant to this, but I think it would be when those come up, because I imagine that process. It's been 2 years, and I think it should be much more advanced than now. But I think that could be, as we go through that process and we say, okay, here, let's increase the 500 parking spots that we've asked for. Then we say, well, we want some affordable housing on there, and so on and so forth. And I should note that I'm pretty sure I can say St. George Community Housing will be a tenant in this building, so we'll have a lot of discussions there, I say. Yeah. But we should.
Still commercial in confidence. These discussions are still commercial in confidence.
The lease? No?
No, not the lease. Our discussions with any housing.
Oh yeah, well, so the process. Yeah, the process is hopefully looking forward to seeing it move very quickly and finally, eventually. All right, Councillor Goodman. All right, sorry. I just say if you want affordable housing, you lower taxes, and this does that. So, well done, and I encourage everyone to support it. Deputy Mayor, right of reply?
I think I've said enough. Thank you.
No worries. All good. If that's being said, I'll put the motion. All those in favour, please raise your hands. Against? Declare it carried.
Mr Mayor, is that because it's a planning matter that will be noted in the minutes who voted which way, or shall I call a division?
No, it's not.
Happy to call a division, Mr Mayor.
Yep. All those in favour?
You don't want to push the buttons?
It's easier to stand. Oh, here we go.
No, we haven't been voting on the vote.
We need to stand a bit anyway.
Please push the buttons because
And you can press your buttons, please, as well, councillors.
push the buttons as well, everybody.
All right.
Press this one and then press yes or no.
Yes.
I'm sure they're doing that.
Good work, Peter. That's it.
All right. Those against? I'll get 8 yeses. There we go. Councillor Koneeb? Is a yes? Is it yes? There we go. Lovely. Thank you very much. I declare
Councillor Green?
unanimous. Unanimous.
You may as well vote for it, make it unanimous.
What's all done? Abstains votes. You got to put a no for abstain. You don't have to explain yourself. That's all good. It's all good.
I'm just saying that I would have liked this to have come to a forum where we could have discussed all this so that it was fully understood and debated around the table, rather than some people have got full knowledge of it, some people haven't. So I would have preferred
No problem.
a more collaborative conversation to have explored the points more fully. So that's what I'm just saying. I have to be really convinced that I'm voting the right way.
Yep.
And because I don't have all the information, I don't feel that I can. So I'm just saying, if there's complex things like this come, I
It's all good.
prefer it to be
We've had a couple of workshops on it already.
on that one.
Yeah.
What is being presented.
Not our own ideas. Yeah.
Well, they might be all ideas, but
Yep. Anyway, Council, thank you, Green. I get it. We can take it offline, but I understand your point. All right. Next item is Plan 03, page 71, tab 4, the recommendation on page 72. Council Deputy Mayor.
I'm happy to move the recommendation.
Move Deputy Mayor, seconded Councillor Rhodes. Any discussion? Put the motion. All those in favour? Against? Declare it carried. Next item is Plan 04, page 76, tab 5, with recommendation on page 76. Move Deputy Mayor.
I have a
Oh, sorry.
motion.
Oh, motion, sorry. What's your motion, Councillor?
Thank you. I have a motion that I believe may also magically come up on the screen, but I will read it out while we're waiting. Thank you. So this is Plan 04, the Bradfield City Centre Master Plan submission. Number 1 remains the same, notes the interim submission to the Department of Planning, Housing and Infrastructure regarding the Bradfield City Centre Master Plan. Number 2 includes in the formal submission the work previously undertaken by Council regarding the 15th Avenue Smart Transit Corridor, which was committed to as part of the Western City deal. Number 3 includes in the formal submission a strong desire for government to forward fund the infrastructure to enable efficient rollout of the precinct in the absence of a current contributions plan or VPA. And number 4 remains the same, forward the interim submission inclusive of the above additions to the DPHI as a formal submission on the Bradfield City Centre Master Plan.
Seconded Councillor Rhodes.
I've got a question as well, Mr Mayor, though.
Yeah, just one more. Any? No, speak for. Yep. What is your question,
The
Councillor?
question is, I'm a bit confused about this Bradfield City now, Mr Mayor. I mean, originally it was all the state government, and it's supposed to be this super biz wham fantastic thing with all the latest infrastructure. Is the state government still providing that infrastructure? It seems like there's been a shift, whereas the state government isn't doing this anymore. Is council actually going to be building Bradfield, not the state government?
I can't answer that question, but all I can know is we don't have 15th Avenue being upgraded yet, and yes, and we still don't have our buses that we signed as part of our city deal. Or
So the question was, perhaps through the CEO, originally when we started talking about Bradfield City, it was all the state government. They were building this and they were going to build that, and we're going to have fancy, the best of what could possibly be provided out there in infrastructure. My question is now, is the state government still going to do that? I mean, we're putting up this master plan for Bradfield. Is Liverpool Council taking ownership of providing all the infrastructure into this city?
I thought council was just making a comment on the Bradfield City Master Plan.
I'll refer to the CEO.
Thank you. Short answer is no, we're not taking ownership. The second part, the longer answer, is that we're still meeting with both federal and state government departments, not just us, Liverpool Council, but all of the other relevant councils, in particular the 8 parks councils, meeting with them, still asking. On occasions we meet with them and we're told, yes, a certain event's going to happen, and then we press when, and then suddenly we're told, 2036 or 2030 or 20, and it's unacceptable. We make that very clear, it's unacceptable. They're still committing. I am aware that in particular the federal government is re-looking at much of the infrastructure and trying to bring it forward. I'm also aware that the state government is doing likewise. But I can't give you an answer, nor can any other GM give you an answer of exactly when and how that's going to occur. All we can do, we've made that clear to them, is that we can keep working on those aspects we can provide, but we can only do that if they, put their contribution in first, if I can use that word. We just can't do it or go out on our own. What's before you is the submission and what we propose to put.
Just needed to have it clarified. It seems like they've shifted the goal a little bit. And
Councillor, you've sat there on a couple of occasions, some meetings where, you get told one thing, but, the rapid bus lane is the perfect example. We understood the rapid bus lane was going to occur on day one the planes applied. Now they're saying 2036 for the rapid bus lane, 2036.
2056, I think.
When do they say 2036?
At one meeting, they turned around and said 20, and now they're looking at trying to bring it forward.
Wow.
I know. So it's a moving feast. I should say that we're also meeting with the various government secretaries in the next couple of weeks as a collective to iron out some of these other issues. Thank you. And I'll keep you updated.
Okay, great. All right, there's no further discussion. I'll put the motion. All those in favour, please raise your hands. Against, I declare it carried. Next item is Plan 05, page 81, tab 6, recommendation page 83. Councillors, I'm happy to move that. I don't really want to say this, but I'm going to have to say it. Move that the item be deferred. It's 1,000 pages of reading. We've had a lot of briefing sessions on it, and we just have not read every single item because we had 1,600 pages to read this week, and it's just a lot. So we go ahead. Seconded, Councillor Hadid.
Deferred to the next meeting?
Yes. Yep. All those in favour? Against? I declare it unanimous. Next item is COM 01, page 99, tab 7, recommendation page on 100.
Happy to move that way.
Move Deputy Mayor, seconded
Seconded.
Councillor Rhodes. Any discussion? I'll put the motion. All those in favour? Against? Declare it carried. Next item is COM 02, page 104, tab 8, recommendation 104.
Happy to move
Move
that
Councillor Rhodes, seconded Councillor Green. Any discussion? I'll put the motion. All those in favour? Against? To declare it carried. Next item is Corp 01, page 1112, tab 9, recommendation page 112. Motion from Deputy Mayor?
Happy to move
Councillor
it.
Rhodes?
Yeah.
Oh. Yeah, move that it be deferred, Deputy Mayor. Seconded,
COM 03.
seconded Councillor Moon. Any discussion? I'll put the motion. All those in favour? Against? Declare it carried. Next item is Corp 02.
Deferred.
Yeah, page 127, tab 10, recommendation 128. Move Councillor Harrell, seconded Councillor Green. Any discussion? I'll put the motion. All those in favour? Against? Declare it carried. Next item is CEBP 01, page 138, tab 11. We're going to page 138. Move Deputy Mayor, seconded Councillor Green. Any discussion? I'll put the motion. All those in favour? Against? I declare it carried. Next item is Operation 01, page 156, tab 12, recommendation, which is page 156. Move Deputy Mayor, seconded Councillor Rhodes. Any discussion? I'll put the motion. All those in favour? Against? I declare it carried. Next item is Operation 02, page 159, tab 13. Councillor Rhodes.
Yes, I've got an alternate motion for this. I believe that we should be really matching.
What's your motion before you speak for your motion?
Okay, the motion is that we match the Westfield's pricing range, and I've got the prices here if you want them to go into the motion.
Yep.
The first,
Let me just-
up to the 3 hours is free. 3 to 3.5 hours, $6. 3.5 to 4 hours, $12. 4 to 4.5 hours, 15. 4.5 to 5 hours, 20. And 5 hours, 30. and the overnight comes down to 50. They are more in line with Westfield's pricing, and by lowering it, I think that we're encouraging more business activity
I'll
up
get you.
at this end.
Seconded, Deputy Mayor. Microphone off, please, Councillor.
I'm happy to second with an additional point. If we can please have a report back in 12 months about the who's coming in and out, how long they're staying, and that kind of, all of that,
Yep.
all of those numbers in 12 months' time,
Great.
please.
Councillor Rhodes, happy to second that? Yep, great. Okay, wonderful. All right, I'll put the motion. All those in favour? Against? I declare it carried. Next item is Operation 03, page 161, tab 14.
Move that way.
Move Councillor Rhodes, seconded Councillor Moon. Any discussion? I'll put the motion. All those in favour? Against? I declare it carried. Committees? Move as a whole. Move Councillor Green, seconded Councillor Harrell. Any discussion? I'll put the motion. All those in favour? Against? I declare it carried. Great. Shuttle bus COM 03 in the addendum booklet 4. Yes, Councillor Hadid? Yes. Can you turn your microphone on, please?
Okay, well, that council received an audit report. 2, that council don't support the extension of the community shuttle bus received contract with the big bus company, blah, blah, blah. That's it.
No, you're, instead of supporting council, you're saying not supporting?
Yeah, not
That is
supporting.
The opposite of the book.
Yep. Do you have a seconder for your motion? Yeah. Councillor Harrell, seconded Councillor Harrell? Yeah. Move.
Yeah, of course, I can tell you why. Well, just today, the council, Mr. Mesoli, after you, Mr. Today, the council passed a resolution in regard of Grove Street, wants to spend some money. Councillor Hall wants to move another motion to spend, an extra money. And the mayor, or actually deputy mayor, just passed a resolution now, which is carried to waive, the contribution for the granny flat. So I don't understand, the council is losing a lot of money and spending on shuttle bus. It's unbelievable, it's incredible. We should look at the way how we can increase our revenue, and cut some spending to fix our budget. Not to keep spending, and waiving money and spending money on shuttle bus on something else. We have to get our priority right if we are serious about, getting on with our business. Thank you.
Through the chair, I'll recall that this occurred last year and we asked for a report on how many people were using that shuttle bus and where they were going and how they were travelling back and forward. Was that report come back to us?
It's in there.
I haven't seen it, that's why.
It's in there.
Only 14,000 for the last year. 14,000 people last year.
It's increasing.
$8 per person. Wow.
So they can use an Uber a little bit cheaper.
Well,
Spend.
Can I move that we defer this to a briefing session so that we can discuss? I mean, we took time over this last year, and I think there's more at play than money here. So I would really like to defer to the next councillor briefing session or governance committee where we can. I foreshadow a motion to defer this.
Second the motion. Let's talk
there's a
about it.
foreshadow deferral. Second, can't move Deputy Mayor. Seconded Councillor Rhodes. Right. See, if I look at this, right, I guess the issue that I have, generally speaking, is that, there is buses that are driving down Moore Street that are, that people can hop on and pay a few cents to come through the city centre.
Which would be good for us.
Let alone
Get people spending more money.
yeah.
We're talking about a shuttle bus. You're talking about a bus that's taking
So,
people around.
Can you put your microphone on, please?
Sorry.
talking about a shuttle bus that is taking people around either to their places of employment, like as an internal little bus service. Now, when you read that it's not only is it increasing, it's mainly women, predominantly women, that are using this service. Yes, it is. Did you? It is. From the hospital, from the TAFE, and you've got shift workers within that, you're also talking about safety. And in terms of with our council workers, do we not want to be an employer of choice in being able to offer, that shuttle bus service to staff to be able to get to where they need to go?
So is it there for staff or is it there?
I think our city centre should be safe for everybody. You know what I mean? If it's not, you know what I mean?
You've got hospital workers that are also
Yeah.
using it. You've got,
Where's the route? Yeah. So does that mean we don't change the route now and let it keep on pick up and drop in front of Moore Street?
No, not at all. But I guess, let's look at why.
Sorry, can you put your microphone on, please?
Sorry. Why it was first established in terms of opening up other car parking areas outside the CBD, Collymore Park, up at Whitlam. I hear what you're saying in terms of money, but I think there's also a social and a human benefit that was in this. And I just get concerned that, if it's something that women are using and it's about safety, I certainly don't want to be withdrawing a service from something from women who are using it in terms of safety and at night.
Councillor Goodman?
The majority of people using the shuttle bus are either council, TAFE, or hospital employees. So why don't we try to get the hospital and the TAFE to pay a bit of money to it, and we pay a third.
Well, the state government does fund other shuttle buses, and they did have one in Liverpool, and they stopped it.
And they stopped
So,
it.
yeah.
So why don't we write to them and see if they'll...
Yeah.
if
So
they'll-
one second, Councillor Deputy Mayor.
If they'll fund this one.
In speaking against the motion and for the deferral, we know that we have a car parking shortage in the CBD. We've committed to looking at that. That's not going to be solved in the next 3 years. This is 3 years extension of a service that is a necessary service. And the reason I want to defer it to a committee meeting where we can flesh out, is this the best route? Is this, and this is beyond the scope of what this actual motion is, but let's do it right. Let's do it all. So let's flesh out whether that is the best route. I mean, there are services that, I have to say I'm 100% on board with Councillor Green. This is about safety and the movement of people in the LGA between the city centre, where we know we have parking issues, and outside of the city centre. So I would like to speak against the motion for the foreshadowed to bring it to a roundtable discussion.
Just Councillor, I think Councillor Hadid was supposed to go, but if he's happy for Councillor Hull, or...
Mr. Mayor, thank you, Mr. Mayor. The reason we use the services of this shuttle bus, it was in 2009.
Yes.
2009. And the reason at the time, because the council wasn't interested in building a new car park within the CBD to help the people come, do business in CBD. But now, after all these years, if you look, we have a car park in front of Rashai, on the outskirts of the CBD. We have the new council civic center car park, it's 2 hours for free. So I don't believe we should keep going and paying for the shuttle bus, as long as we have an alternative now. So why we keep wasting money? It's unbelievable. We have to think how we can save some money to fix our budget. How we can save money. We keep spending money. And I don't want to see this council before I leave in September is going in trouble. Thank you.
I believe we have a budget meeting next Tuesday, so in deferring this, we can also discuss that at that meeting as well.
I think that makes sense, Deputy Mayor, and let it be considered as part of the budget, but let it keep it going on since. Yes, because I think if you go back,
Mr. Mayor,
Parliament-
Mr. Mayor, defer
Councillor Harold.
Defer it and finish it.
Okay,
Defer it.
Councillor Harold.
I don't want to waste more
Councillor
time.
Harold's been very waiting patiently. I'm sure he has something good, very considered to say.
He can't resist, can he? Just as a matter of history, the reason we built Collymore Park and the shuttle bus was because the council centre at Hoxton Park burnt down and the staff had to come to the CBD. And the reason we introduced the shuttle bus was so that there was easy travel from Collymore Park to 33 Moore Street. That was the original reason, nothing else. But at the same time, there was a shuttle bus, I believe it was a red bus, that used to travel around Liverpool doing what we are doing now. And I think that we should really be approaching the state government. It's their responsibility to provide bus services, not the ratepayers. So while I agree with Councillor Green's efforts in helping the disadvantaged, the people at night time and safety issues, it really is a responsibility that should fall on the state government, not ratepayers. That's double dipping, and I think that's unfair.
So on that point, they do have one running in Parramatta. So, they're for a city centre and they want all that wonderful stuff. Well, they're paying for it in Parramatta, one on Liverpool. So, but I think we can deal with that. If we're happy to have it deferred, and then we can, when it comes back, we can deal with that. And all right. The first motion is removed. The foreshadow motion becomes the motion. All those in favour, please raise your hands. Against, declare that carried. Wonderful. We will now have a 15-minute recess, and we'll be back at 4:40. 20, tab 21. Moved, Councillor Rhodes. Seconded, Councillor Moon. And any discussion? I'll put the motion. All those in favour? Against? Declare it carried. Nom 2, Councillor Caliendas. Yes.
Scholarship thing.
Yes.
Right, I was going to suggest that we also look at including TAFE colleges, not just universities. Is that possible? Sorry, I should have brought it up earlier.
Oh, good. That we consider TAFE scholarships as well.
As well, yes.
Okay, great. Are you happy to accept that, Councillor Rhodes?
Yes, the reason why I didn't put it in was...
Microphone, please.
The reason why I didn't put it in was not that I don't think it's a worthy thing to put in, Peter, but I'm a little bit like-minded like Mazar, and I'm trying to keep the costs of everything down. And so that's the reason why I left it out. So it's a matter of a budgetary decision as to how much money we want to spend. The universities are just 15,000. And I haven't got the information in front of me. Like, how much was the TAFE scholarships? I think it took it up to $30,000.
Yep. Deputy Mayor. Microphone.
Can I make a suggestion, if the mover and seconder are happy, that we reinstate the scholarships as were for the University of Wollongong, but bearing in mind that we have budget meetings coming up, that we also consider other scholarships in the realm of the next year's budget and move that way as a point 3. So consider further scholarships at TAFE and other institutions as part of the budget discussions.
Yep. Is everyone happy with that?
I don't look upon this as an expenditure, I look upon it as an investment into our own local area, and we're going to get that back to us in one form or another at another time.
Wonderful. Seconder happy with that? Once again, I put the motion. All those in favour? Against? I declare it carried. Nom 02, Councillor Calienda is not here.
Someone needs to move it.
There's just a question with, I don't know, Deputy Mayor, did you want to bring it up or would you like me?
I have
Councillor
issues with it around the insurance. There's a lot of, actually, I agreed with what the CEO had to say, his comment on this one, and I thought that it would be best that they are encouraged to apply for a council event grant to support their activity, and provision of an in-kind council facility to host the venue and facilitate a larger audience. I mean, we should encourage them, but there is a process that we would feel a lot safer with because, you know, there's implications about insurance and if something happened, who would be responsible. If it was handled, I think probably the legal department could tell us more than what we know. So I had a foreshadowed motion that I want to help them.
Yep, what's your foreshadowed motion?
The foreshadowed motion is encourage an applicant for a council grant event to support this activity. There it is up. Provision of an in-kind council facility to host the venue and facilitate a larger audience. And inclusion in council's Anzac Media and Communications plan to provide marketing support for this activity once a grant has been provided. So that's just straight out of the CEO's comments on it. Yeah, I did pinch his comments.
So if you, yes, sorry. Councillor Adib, microphone please.
How did you start putting a foreshadow motion and there is no motion moved before us now?
There's nothing, she just talked about it.
So
No, I said I had a foreshadowed motion. No. So he said, what was my motion?
Noms can only be moved by the person who put forward the nom, and the nom's not here. The mover is not here, and then
Someone to move it on her behalf because they are interested.
that would be the.
I'd be happy to move it on councillor Caliander's behalf.
Yep. Okay. Let's do that then.
I've attended, I have
Yep.
been to this.
Yep. So move Councillor Green, seconded. Councillor Harrell, seconded. Okay, great. So that there we have. So the foreshadowed motion,
So
which
we
is
have the motion
probably.
first. So do you want to?
Seconded foreshadowed motion, someone? Deputy Mayor. Okay. So I'm just thinking with Anzac Day in a month's time, encourage an application for council event grant to support this activity.
Mr. Mayor, we can retrospectively assess that though, can we not?
Yes. Yep. So that,
Could I ask a question?
yeah, can I just work through this just for a second,
Okay,
right?
Okay.
So if we can do it retrospectively, that's a tick. Can I ask through the CEO, is there a grant that would cover this sort of an event?
Yes. Short answer is, someone needs to go off their microphone.
Nope.
Oh, yep. Short answer is yes, there is a grant that is available, but there's also the CEO's discretionary fund if necessary. But I believe we have a grant process that we can use.
Can we apply to get some money from the discretion fund?
You can always apply to get money from my discretionary fund. Whether you succeed or not are two different things.
That's right. Yeah, yes,
I'll ask the director, Tina Bono.
Just one sec, Councillor Rhodes.
Through the CEO, we've had numerous discussions with Kelly on this matter following last year where she sought interest from council for support. I've had 2 personal conversations with her. The challenge is that we asked her to get Orbist because she hasn't got public liability or insurances, so which she has declined through to organisations. Liverpool Lions were happy to support, as was potentially Holsworthy Girl Guides. We've also held a facility for her and offered her many multiple sites that could work and partner with council on our Anzac ceremony, all of which have been declined. So we can still work with her and try again, but there has been multiple attempts to do so.
So basically, there isn't a grant program that could support this activity.
Not without someone overseeing her.
And it's because we don't give it to individuals, it has to go to an
Correct. That's correct.
organisation, right? So that's number one. So therefore, point one of this is useless because there's no point encouraging them to do something that can't be approved, right? Yeah.
Unless she changed her mind and went through an appropriate person who's got the facilities to satisfy council.
Yeah, yeah, but we can do it retrospectively as Deputy Mayor, so that's one element. Yeah, so that could kind of... Provision of an in-kind council facility. Can we do that to an individual? She doesn't want to do it. Is
No,
that-
she doesn't want, well,
So point two is irrelevant because she's not interested in that.
It's an amazing display. And it is an amazing amount of people turn up there of an
So...
can I ask a legal question?
So before you go there, so if you want to do something like this, call this a street event or something along those lines, then in reality you need to look at your grants and donations policy that allows for something like this to happen, right?
Now, can I ask my legal question?
Go for it.
If we do that, and if somebody got injured at this event, who is liable? That's the biggest concern I have, and that's why we actually have a process to address that issue. That's my problem.
Thank you, councillor. Before I move on to General Counsel, my understanding is we'd be providing them, if we go with the first, we'd be providing them with $1,000 full stop. We're not running the event. We're not a party to the event. The event is on their property. I don't see how council could be made liable, but I'm happy to be corrected by General Counsel.
And it's on a council street.
I think I generally agree with the view that the CEO has put. That said, I don't put it beyond the wit of clever lawyers to find ways to bring claims. So it depends a bit on how the event is organised and the extent of our involvement. But in theory, I don't think we attract liability just by awarding a grant. But I would expect we run the slide rule over a grant application and think about whether it looks like a properly organised event in the way we normally would.
Can I just ask a question as well? Because I know that this is an amazing display. I've seen it. The report says that there were 460 people attend last year, I believe, and we're talking about a residential street in Wattle Grove. So I am concerned about parking and how people move about in that space and whether or not we need to, I understand this is on private property, and thank you for the General Counsel for the answer to the question about, whether or not $1,000 of an donation constitutes support or not, and I take on board what you say, but also, are we going to run into traffic management issues? We have family fun days where we have maybe not 500 cars trying to be in one location at one time. I just want to know whether or not we should be looking at that as an issue as well.
The 400 odd is over the course of the day, because they also run a dawn service. They have a coffee cart. There was an ice cream van for the kids. It's, rather a large event for a cul-de-sac, I agree, but there are other neighbours have also bought in and they decorate their homes and they also host some of the activities as well as from what I understood last year.
I'm just on something that Councillor Green said as well, and I'm happy to just receive a bit more information, but I understand time is of the essence. In that cul-de-sac, whether or not we are also going to disrupt neighbours by having 460 people turn up, and we may not. I just want some reassurance of that.
My understanding is the neighbours of that particular cul-de-sac all participate. They're active participants within the whole presentation, the whole day, from what I can understand.
Through the CEO and the Chair, if I can invite my fellow councillors to contribute $100 each towards this event, then we don't have to have this debate. If everyone can sacrifice $100 out of their monthly allowance, we can put it towards this, and then council doesn't have an issue with it, and we've contributed to something great. It's only $100. There's 9 of us sitting here now, and we can just put $100 towards it each, and we resolve the issue. What do you guys think?
Well, the $100, can we spend it somewhere else, mate? In a better way. And by suggesting that you're opening
I think we've got to have a policy
I don't know how many
about
community will approach you who ask you for your charity. Now, well, look, it seems to me it's only one concern. It's the safety of the street. Is it raised by Councillor McNaught? The safety. So if you can put condition on the... Are we listening now?
If we can put a condition on there.
Is anyone listening to Councillor Hadid?
Yeah. So it's the only concern now is the safety of the place, you know what I mean? If we can put a condition on the organisers of the event to take into consideration the safety of, you know, the properties, the street, the people, the resident, you know
I don't
what
think
mean?
we can. I don't think though that we can't put that onto somebody. That has to be organised by them.
Well, it's the organizer should to take, you know, responsibility of it if you're going to spend money. So this is fine. If they can't be responsible to make the place safe, so we can't do anything.
Mr Mayor, through you, if I may, councillors, as I said, my real concern is that we get so involved in this that suddenly we've got, you know, our fingerprints all over this. Somehow or other we're involved in this. Somehow or other, you know, if a problem does arise. I mean, if you took point 1 of the motion, simply allocate $1,000 full stop, then clearly we have no involvement. We've just simply made $1,000. We let them do what they've got to do. I've got to say points 2 and 3 have concerned me a little bit, where we're working with them, we're organising, we're making it a more sustainable process, we're giving support, we're initiating, and then 3, we consider the best our local community can engage with the display. Suddenly we're part of it, suddenly we're advertising it, suddenly we're encouraging people to obtain. So, you know, to me it would be my recommendation to you is if you're going to pass the motion as is, pass it at point 1, leave point 2 and 3 out, and then let's look at moving forward in the future if we're going to look at your entire grants policy and what changes we make to your grants policy, as you know, with the proposed amended version that you're foreshadowing, that might be better in the future. But I just think you're really overcomplicating this.
I've got a question. If you do that for this person, how do you decide who you do it for and who you do not do it for?
Well, at the moment, I don't decide that, you do. At the moment, anyone who applies for a grant has to come to you to be approved. So if the next door neighbour wants 1,000 and everyone down the street want 1,000, you have to make that decision.
I'm going to talk to my next door neighbour.
That's a conflict of interest.
Can I make a suggestion? Yes. Sorry, thank you. If the mover and seconder are happy, based on my concerns and the CEO's comments, that we amend the motion to say allocate $1,000 towards the 20, just point 1, and perhaps a point 2 that at a workshop in the next 3 months, considering we have budget coming up as well, so we don't need this would be a policy change, that we have a look at the grants policy to account for situations like this moving forward. However, just leave that at point 1 today and then have the discussion more thoroughly later on. Are the mover and seconder happy with that?
say allocate $1,000.
Microphone, please.
to-
Microphone, please.
Mr Mayor, I would suggest that we change one to read allocate $1,000. Allocate $1,000. Sorry about that. Allocate $1,000 to Kylie and Steve Hill towards the. So we're actually naming them.
Well, I wouldn't say towards, you're just giving a couple of people $1,000, mate, leave it at that.
Oh no, you've got to say what it's for.
No, you can't mention, that makes you.
Microphone, please.
But then it sounds like I'm giving them $1,000 personally. Well, that's my advice, councillors. Do it that way.
No, I can't. I think it's too dangerous. Let's talk to them and talk them into finding something.
Microphone, please.
I think the best alternative is to help them to try and find somebody who can provide all that necessary stuff for it to go through the proper process. That's what I think would be the wise thing to do.
Deputy Mayor. Microphone, please.
For someone to turn off. Thank you. Sorry, I know that I have seconded the foreshadowed motion. However, my change wouldn't be to my suggested change was to the original motion that the recommendation in the book be adopted, because so I know there's a lot of typing to undo there. Okay. Oh, sorry. This is the motion before us now that's been amended. Should be the original motion that was moved by Councillor Green and Councillor Hull, that I was asking whether they were happy with that. Do you see what I mean? As opposed to the foreshadowed, which is an amended, yeah.
So, all right. So we have a motion. So
the point 2 and 3 from your original motion is just gone into a workshop, but we allocate the $1,000 to get this going.
Yes, I think I can agree to that, and I'm sure that Councillor Caliander and I can work with the couple, with also the director, and we'll see how we can discuss a suitable auspice, and that will move it forward for future. But yes, the workshop, I'm happy with that.
So with the workshop, it's just I think the solution is having within our existing grants policies something that allows for if they're going to put a great Anzac display or St. Patrick's Day. All right.
They'll whack on a party in their street to do that.
Yeah. So I guess when we say about workshop, can we come up with someone present to us a potential policy change at that workshop? Yes. Right. That's potentially stuff like that. Right. All right.
Wow, that would be big. You'd get every house applying for it. Sorry, I just.
Look, Mr. Mayor, look, to be honest with you, it's not a matter of $1,000. But if you think about it for the future, so how many streets within Liverpool local government you've got? If every couple from each street, apply for $1,000 to do some decoration for the Christmas, the Easter, Anzac Day, whatever. Man, we are opening,
$35 million.
Well, put it this way.
It is a problem. It's not a matter of $1,000, but you awarding to individual. It's not an organization, you know what I mean? We have to look at it. It's not an organization. You opening a can of worms, you know what I mean? No, look, I have to be honest. It's not $1,000, But look at the future. What will happen? What is the consequences of this motion?
Great. Okay.
But you're going to evaluate each on them.
If there's no further discussion, I'll put the motion. All those in favour, please raise your hands.
Of the original motion by Councillor Green and Councillor Hull?
Yeah. Against? Declare it carried.
Can we have that recorded? Because if something
We're all in this together, Councillor.
I want my name recorded as voting against it, no problem. And for no reason for the poor couple that's doing it, but for legal reasons.
Next item is Conf 01, page 1762. Conf 01, Edmonton Avenue.
Oh, option D.
Yes. You have to choose an option A, B, C, D.
No,
D.
we're not. It's fine. We're not closing the meeting.
Yep.
Yeah.
Happy to move option D.
Yep.
Move option D.
Yep.
I'll leave it to the
Happy
the
to second,
roads.
yeah, happy with that option D,
yeah.
of
All right.
course.
I'll leave it to Rhodes mover. Howell seconded. Or Moon seconded. That's fine. All right. All those in favour? Against? Declare it carried. Conf 021796 moved Council Deputy Mayor.
Seconded.
Amoon. Any discussion? I'll put the motion. All those in favour? Against? I declare it carried.
So thank you very much. So the recommendation was adopted with no changes in closed session. And that being the last item on the agenda, I declare it at 12. We've done Confo 2, yes.
And you voted for it. Yes.
I was going to do that anyway.
I declare the meeting closed at 12 minutes past 5. Thank you very much, everybody.